You're watching South Asia Newsline, and here are the top stories we are tracking for you on Friday, the 17th of October. US doubles down on claim, it says India refiners cutting Russian oil imports. India reaffirms strong support to two-state solution to Palestine issue. And Pakistan says ready for talks with Afghanistan. Kabul residents condemn attack. And now for all the details. The White House doubled down its claim that India has halved its import of Russian oil after US President Donald Trump said that India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi assured him that the country would stop buying Russian oil, an assertion New Delhi has denied. India's Foreign Ministry spokesperson Randhir Jaiswal earlier on Thursday said that they were not aware of any telephone conversation between PM Modi and US President Donald Trump, and that the government of India considers the provision of energy security a responsibility of paramount importance to meet the basic needs of its citizens. His remarks also came as the UK has announced sanctions over Russian oil purchase. Meanwhile, Russia, in response to Trump's claim, has said that it was confident its energy partnership with India would continue.
We have noticed the latest sanctions announced by the UK. As I have said this earlier as well, and possibly most of you are aware of it as well, that we do not subscribe to any unilateral sanctions. Government of India considers the provision of energy security a responsibility of paramount importance to meet the basic needs of its citizens. Indian companies source energy supplies from around the world while taking overall market conditions into account.
India's Foreign Minister S. Jaishankar co-chaired the inaugural India-Egypt strategic dialogue with his Egyptian counterpart Badr Abdulati on Thursday, marking a new phase in the deepening partnership between the two nations. In a post on X, Jaishankar said they discussed further cooperation in defense, economic, AI and space sectors, among others. India also expressed support for a just and durable peace in West Asia. Jaishankar also lauded Egypt's leadership in the ongoing Gaza peace process. Reaffirming India's long-held position, Jaishankar said, India has been consistent in its support for a two-state solution. We are committed to enhancing capacity building, human resource development, and strengthening Palestinian institutions. During his remarks at the dialogue, Jaishankar described the meeting as a milestone in India-Egypt relations. He noted that since the elevation of ties to a strategic partnership in 2023, cooperation has expanded across multiple domains.
Let me take the opportunity to appreciate the contribution of Egypt and the leadership of President Sisi in realizing the Gaza peace plan. Prime Minister Modi appreciated President Sisi's invitation to the Sharm el-Sheikh Summit for Peace. We were represented by Minister K.V. Singh. We sincerely hope that the summit and its understandings will pave the way for a better future. India will continue to strongly support all efforts towards a durable and just peace in the region. In that context, let me also state that India has been consistent in its support for a two-state solution. We have significant development cooperation with Palestine and are committed to enhancing capacity building, human resource development, and strengthening Palestinian institutions.
A fragile 48-hour ceasefire between Pakistan and Afghanistan is holding for now after days of deadly cross-border clashes that left several civilians dead and dozens injured. While Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif signalled Islamabad's willingness for talks, tensions remain high as analysts warn that renewed violence is likely unless both sides address the threat posed by the Pakistani Taliban.
As a temporary 48-hour ceasefire largely held following days of intense cross-border fighting, Pakistani's Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif on Thursday said that Islamabad was ready to hold talks with Afghanistan to resolve their ongoing conflict. Sharif told his cabinet that Pakistan had retaliated after losing patience with Afghanistan over a series of militant attacks, warning that the ceasefire should not be used by Kabul to buy time.
بار کې تلفات رسیدلي ملکیانو ته 116 زخمیان لرو ملکیان او تر شلو پورې شهیدان لرو اکثریت ملکیان او چې زخمیان شوي او شهیدان شوي هغه په بمبار کې ډېر شهیدان.
In Kabul, injured victims were being treated in hospital emergency wards after the airstrikes and ground clashes claimed at least a dozen lives. Survivors described the horrific scenes, recalling how children, women, the elderly, and young people lay wounded on the streets.
روز گذشته بعد از ظهر نزدیک به 4 بجه کابل آمبولانس برای ما راپور داد که در ساحه تیمنی یک انفجار صورت گرفته. از اون انفجار به تعداد 34 مریض برای ما آورده شد که 22 مریضش ما داخل بستر گرفتیم. 5 مریضش به حالت وخیم بود، دیگراش استیبل بود. از جمله در مجموع 34 مجروح ما آورده شده بود.
In Spin Boldak, a town on Afghanistan's border with Pakistan, mourners gathered on Thursday to pay their respects to victims of a devastating airstrike amid the temporary truce. Residents condemned the attack, saying the area was home only to non-military families.
دا برید خو دلته د پاکستان د طرفه سوسو د زموږ کور چې دی موږ عوام خلک یو دلته نه نظامي اډاوه نه څه نظامي خلک دلته ول ښځې او کوچنیان او ماشومان په کور کې چې مین وموښتي تقریبا 14 کسان موږ زخمیان لرو د شهیدانو سره 15 کسان شهیدان لرو.
Analyst Marvin Weinbaum of the Middle East Institute warned that further clashes were inevitable due to the ongoing threat from the TTP or the Pakistani Taliban. He expressed cautious optimism that continued diplomatic pressure could help prevent a complete breakdown in relations.
Will there be an outbreak again? Inevitably there will be. And since the TTP are unlikely to give up on their efforts here to destabilize Pakistan, inevitably there will be further times when there is exchange. But both sides, I hope, have learned from this how quickly it is to lose control of the situation.
Moving on, Pakistan's crackdown in Balochistan has drawn sharp criticism after authorities have moved trials of detained Baloch activists inside prison walls. Right groups have called it an attempt to hide state repression and deny a fair trial rights.
Samiuddin Baloch, the central leader of the Baloch Yakjedi Committee, has accused Pakistan of suppressing growing public support for the group's detained leaders. Activists including Dr. Murang Baloch, Bibarg Baloch, Shahji Baloch, Bibao Baloch, and Gulzadi Baloch have been held for over 6 months without formal charges. Samiuddin Baloch said authorities have shifted all hearings to Quetta District Jail, calling it a move to suppress transparency. She alleged that the state is delaying proceedings and barring public access to hide its injustices.
हम समझते हैं कि इस किस्म के इकदाम इनकी बुनियादी इंसानी और कानूनी हुकूक की खुली खिलाफ वर्जी हैं। जेल के अंदर समाअत का मतलब है कि अब ना इनके अहलखाना वहाँ पे मौजूद होंगे, ना वकला, ना कोई सहाफ़ी मौजूद होगी, ताकि जो भी अदालती कार्रवाई होगी वो अदालती कार्रवाई और तमाम फैसले अपने मर्जी से किए जाएं। और इन सब में सबसे ज़्यादा तशवीशनाक सूरत-ए-हाल बीबक बलूच की है, जो पहले से एक माजूर शख्स हैं और शदीद बीमारी में मुब्तला हैं। डॉक्टर्स ने इनकी फौरी ट्रीटमेंट का कहा है, लेकिन जेल इंतजामिया ने अभी तक उनको किसी किस्म की कोई ट्रीटमेंट नहीं दिया है। ये सिर्फ और सिर्फ सियासी कारकुनों के खिलाफ इंतकामी कार्रवाइयों और लापरवाही नहीं है, बल्कि इंसानियत के तकाज़ों की एक संगीन खिलाफ वर्जी है। हम समझते हैं कि फेयर ट्रायल का हक सबको हासिल है और BYC की क़यादत को भी हासिल होना चाहिए।
The BYC condemned the decision as institutionalized repression, saying it violates Pakistan's constitutional and international fair trial norms. The group has launched a 3-day online protest urging citizens to raise their voices against state oppression. The resource-rich Balochistan province has long faced allegations of state-led repression, including enforced disappearances, extrajudicial killings, and crackdowns on peaceful activism. Rights groups say Islamabad's control over the region's vast gas and mineral resources has deepened local resentment and fueled decades of unrest.
And a massive fire engulfed a garment factory in Bangladesh's Chittagong city on Thursday, with firefighters battling the blaze for more than 4 hours. The fire started in the afternoon at the higher floors of a cap and towel manufacturing unit inside the Chittagong Export Processing Zone. Fire officials said 17 fire engines were deployed to contain it, fire officials added. It was, however, unknown if there were any casualties in the incident. The cause of the fire and the number of people inside the factory was also not immediately clear, officials said. It was the second major industrial fire in Bangladesh this week after a chemical warehouse explosion in Mirpur area of Dhaka on October 14th killed at least 16 people. Bangladesh faces such disasters every year. The reasons for such disasters have been attributed to poor fire and building safety standards. Moving on, senior IMF officials have commended Sri Lanka's strong economic recovery after a deep recession, urging continued reforms for lasting stability and growth. Speaking at the IMF World Bank annual meetings in Washington, Thomas Helbing, Deputy Director of the IMF's Asia Pacific Department, said Sri Lanka's homegrown reform program has driven a shift from crisis to growth, with 5% expansion last year and an estimated 4.2% this year. He stressed the need to sustain reforms, fiscal discipline, and state enterprise viability to safeguard stability. The IMF recently reached a staff-level agreement with Sri Lanka to complete the 5th review of its reform program, unlocking about $347 million in financing. Once approved by the executive board, total disbursements will reach around $2.04 billion under the $3 billion support package. The lender also urged continued tax and spending reforms to maintain recovery momentum. That's all in tonight's edition. We will see you same time next week. Have a great weekend. Good night.